Welcome to the unboxing and first look of the Waterfall Tarot, made by me. You get my signature on there. I can prove it was made by me. That's my signature. On the side, dedicated to all of you beautiful people. On the other side, my social media. And on the back, we have the High Priestess. Sun and the High Priestess. Let's unbox. Ooh, that fresh smell of newness. The fresh smell of newness. The Death card and the Strength card are bonus cards. You don't have to use them. I know some people might have a problem with the Death. They're not like a big fan of how it looks. I don't know. But this is my edition of the extra card of Death. Strength is my extra card as well. Again, if you don't like these, you don't want to use these, you can quite easily just put them back in the box and just use the regular ones. If you want to use them, though, that's great. So let's look at what we have in the tarot. The Fool looks like I wanted, with the crispy detail present in both the rocks and the underlying mountain. Love it. Look at the crispy detail. You know, ditto with the Magician as well. Magician has coins on the table right here. You may not have noticed it. A little extra detail with the snake and the detail I added along on the table. So it looks very crispy and good. High Priestess, everyone loves this. Look at the crispy detail on that robe. I mean, that is nice. That is 3D looking. So there you go. And obviously I expanded the two pillars to have the full names. Empress, pretty standard. A little bit of extra detail in the water. And I have a YouTube supporter's initials on the heart. So that's all you need in life, is a little bit of love for all of you. Emperor, everybody was concerned about the expression. He has a good expression now. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that crispy detail on the mountains. And the dog laying at his feet, because the Emperor needs a dog. They need a dog. And another supporter's initials right there on the Emperor as well. Hierophant. You know, an interesting card. It's got what it needs. I think that it has a very 3D look to it as well. I love the detail on the hands and the crown. I think that really sort of brings it together. Just like in Big Lebowski, it brings the room together. Lovers, I made the grass better looking. I made the mountains better looking. The clouds are better looking. We have fiery hair now. And I think the crispy detail on the robe is where I want it to be. Very, very happy with the Lovers card. Chariot, I changed the color scheme, as you can see. I got a couple of YouTube supporters' initials buried and embedded there. So you may want to look and see if you're there, if you were a supporter and you wanted your initials. So there we go. The Chariot. I changed the Sphinx's colors as well. So, you know, some nice things going on there. Strength, obviously more detail to the lion. I think it has a better feel to it. It has this ethereal feel, and I love it. And again, if you're interested, you can use the alternate Strength card, which is this one. You know, it's up to you. You get a couple of extra cards just because I love you. So there you go. You can use either one that you would prefer. All right, the Hermit has the cool ball, which is inspiration or a shout out to Demolition Man, where they have the freeze ball that they drop in the gooey liquid and it freezes everyone. So there you go. That's the Hermit, bringing the coolness dripping onto the sand as well. Wheel of Fortune is exactly like I wanted it. That is a nice looking card. It's very, very ethereal and weird. I love it. And Justice as well. Very happy with that. Not a lot of changes to Justice. I originally was going to make the scales imbalanced, but that would tick off everybody, so I didn't do it. I know people said I should highlight the sword a little better, but I like the blending. I like the blending in of it. It blends in on purpose. Hanged Man, everybody was worried about the mice being cut off. They're right there for you. They're right there for you because we need them. The mice are chewing on his strap that is holding him up, making you very, very worried that he's going to drop on his head. You know? Death, I removed the priest holding back death from the kids because sometimes you need that extra stress. You need that extra stress. You know, that's reality. So the kids are playing down there. They don't look like they know what's about to happen, but death is rolling on in. Temperance. Everyone loves this one. We got the fire and the ice dynamic there, which I think brings an interesting twist to the entire card. The colors are just beautiful. Almost made this the box cover, but everyone likes the sun. Devil's pretty standard. Not much to say there. Tower has some extra effects, lightning, fire effects. I think it looks good. It definitely relays that tower message. And I lit up the sky around the lightning because that's what it would look like in real life. Star is just gorgeous. I love it. I know some of you didn't like it. I love it, and it's my deck. So I mean, I also changed the bird in the background because you wanted a lawn. What was it, a lawn egret or a lawn swan or whatever? Anyway, you wanted one of those. So there you go. There you have it. I gave it to you. I love the colors. It's so dynamic. Moon, pretty standard. Pretty standard. Not much to say. Sun is everyone's fave, obviously, because the horse riding in, the dynamic, the feel, the extra detail in it, I think is great, and I'm very happy with that. Judgment. A lot of people asked why the Jack-in-the-Box, because everybody needs a rebirth, not just people. So you have these sort of washed out figures and then the prominent Jack-in-the-Box right there. I think it looks fantastic. I love the hair, the face, I love the flag detail. Everything looks exactly like I want it. The world. Now, the man looks like a mannequin on purpose. I explain it in the book as to why. All figures are there. None are cut off. I'm very happy with this as well. I love this card. It looks good. Ace of Wands. I love the eerie, weird feel to those clouds. It looks so cool. And then the fire. And then the Two of Wands has a realistic looking globe. And all the buildings are burning to sort of represent 2020. You know, everything's sort of burning up. Everything is burning this year. This is such a weird year. Three of Wands, pretty standard. Pretty standard. Four of Wands, again, pretty standard. I've spent a lot of time on the foliage, so hopefully you can see a lot of detail. I mean, you can see a lot of crispy detail in that foliage with the grapes and everything else. The shading on the top of the tower, etc. I think it's all right there. It's all right there, and it looks good. I did do a couple of fixes. Somebody asked what this was, so I made it more prominent to be a bridge. Five of Wands, one of my favorites. One of my favorites. I changed a lot of colors around. The ground looks unstable. I love every part of it. Six of Wands, not a lot of nice crispy detail up there for the wreath. And the expression on the horse and everything. I love it. I love it. That definitely has a weird feel, an ethereal feel to it. Same thing with the Seven of Wands with the added crow. And, the crow's coming in. You got to watch all sides. You can't not pay attention. Eight of Wands, pretty standard. I didn't pay a lot of time on this. That was pretty lazy card, I got to say, for the Eight of Wands, but whatever. I had to have one lazy card, and that was the one. I'd rather it be that one than something else. Nine of Wands. Now look at how he is surrounded. This is great for card interactions because him being surrounded creates a barrier that you need to deal with. 10 of Wands. The crow took a dump on the back of the man. He was already having a bad day, but now it's much worse. You got to deal with it. You got to deal with it. Page of Wands, pretty standard. Knight of Wands, pretty standard as well. It's an interesting card, interesting shading. Queen of Wands, again, pretty standard. The cat brings some cool detail, and I like the mountains in the background. The King of Wands, everyone was concerned, are you going to put the lizard there? And there is your lizard, my friends. There is your lizard. If you saw an early copy of this, it looked really bad, but I put mountains in the background. I put more defined detail for the platform. Now it is fixed. Ace of Swords. Literally everyone's favorite. I love it. I love it. The hand looks good. Everything looks good. The Two of Swords, the ducks are crossing. The ducks are crossing right here and the ducklings too, because she's blindfolded and they're not going to get cut in half like they did the last time. So the ducklings are making it across. Everybody's favorite, the Three of Swords, the most dramatic change of any card, obviously excluding these. The candy is falling out and the swords look good. They're stabbing through the gift of chocolate. 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 Four of Swords has a little blood on there. Sometimes you have to do a little fighting before you get to rest. Love that card. I love the feel of it. Five of Swords. Pretty standard. Pretty standard. A lot of heavy shading in the bottom, but sure, whatever. A dramatic difference of the Six of Swords. I wanted to really emphasize going from a dismal place into a much brighter, more beautiful place. That's the meaning of the card, and I don't think a lot of other decks give that feel out, and I wanted to give it to you. No pun intended. So you really get that feel that I'm going from something crappy into something better. Seven of Swords, probably the card that I spent the most time on. Very, very realistic pants and realistic head and everything else. So overall, this is a beautiful card. Beautiful, beautiful card. And he's escaping. I changed it to a clown instead of a person with a hat because I want to emphasize his connection with the circus. He's leaving his home. He's leaving his job. He's leaving something that he knows, something that he's familiar with, something that he does, and he's taking stuff with him. I want that to be very, very prominent in your mind. Now notice she is shackled to this sword here, and her feet are shackled to this sword here. So this is an added element of restriction that I wanted to emphasize within that card. Nine of Swords, pretty standard, but there's a clown face in the background. I went back and forth. Should I make that prominent or not? At the end, I said, let me make it visible, but only if you're looking for it. So now you know there's a creepy clown face staring down at this individual as well. There's also hidden messages with the signs, if you want to pursue that. Ten of Swords. I wanted to add the vulture because there's that bonus element of, is the vulture waiting for this person to die? Is the vulture currently eating him? There's an element of danger for the already dismal and depressing Ten of Swords. Page of Swords, pretty standard. Knight of Swords. Love the crispy detail on this one. I love it. It looks good. I spent some time on that, made it nice. I really enjoy that one. Queen of Swords as well. We have some nice detail with the mountains. We have some great detail on the throne and whatnot. So I think that really sort of comes out with it. King of Swords, pretty standard there. That is the totalitarian in my system. Ace of Cups, obviously an extreme amount of detail. So there you go. Two of Cups. We have the Murrays, and we have Raina. So if you look closely, you have a pattern of an M and an R within the symbolism here. Nice detail for the lion head as well, and the expressions. Really like this card. I think that came out well. Three of Cups, a lot of detail on the ground and on their dresses and whatnot. I really like it. I did add the element of the fishing pole within the Four of Cups. I thought that was important because maybe, just maybe, you are being offered something for a reason. Maybe people are trying to lure you in, no pun intended, or maybe pun intended. The Five of Cups added the extra element of him pouring out the cup. Why? Because he needs to express frustration, anger, and being upset with this particular card. You can't just have being upset. You can't just be depressed. He's rebelling. He is revolting from that action. Six of Cups, pretty standard. A lot of nice detail on that as well. Seven of Cups added a ton of detail. So there's a lot of little intricacies within all of the different things in here. Nice and crispy detail for that as well. Eight of Cups, the poison of the mountains in the background is greatly enhanced, as well as there is a large spider here. I explain why in the PDF. Nine of Cups, pretty standard. I changed the colors around a little. I like the expression. I like the overall card. 10 of Cups, one of my favorite. I changed the color of the rainbow, obviously, made it a little bit more dynamic, and I removed the platform, the concrete platform here, and replaced it with grass. I think that really enhances it, makes it more dynamic, and of course he has his hand on her butt. Page of Cups, pretty standard. There, he's talking to the fish, but a couple of fish fell out of the cup. So a little bit of dynamic range there for you. And the Knight of Cups, everybody's favorite. Pretty standard overall. It's very standard looking overall. Queen of Cups, I have Marge's name in the bottle. It is a message in the bottle. And there you go. A lot of good stuff on this card. I really enjoyed making this card. Have a lot of nice detail on it. The King of Cups as well. The colors just really pop on that. It looks fantastic, and I'm pretty pleased overall with it. Ace of Pentacles, obviously we have the highly detailed hand that I painted, and the hand is delivering the pentacle. Now the Two of Pentacles has a seal, because the seal thinks that there's a show going on. So that's sort of the feel in this card, is that there's a show, not just choices to be made, but a showy way of doing it as well. Three of Pentacles, a lot of changes. There's actually text to read within the scroll. You can read the text within the scroll. I'll leave it to you to do that. And on the bottom, he has painting supplies. He has a brush, a watercolor set, and a canvas on the bottom of the platform or little bench that he's standing on as well. Four of Pentacles, pretty standard. Five of Pentacles, not so standard. The Five of Pentacles, they have, what is it? Just masks, I guess this type of mask, hospital masks, COVID masks, as they call them. My deck, I believe, is the very first deck to have COVID references in it that came out, at least. So, yeah, you have COVID references here. A lot of detail there. If you zoom in, if you look, there's quite a bit to be watched, quite a bit to be looked at, including all the detail on the dress and whatnot. The Six of Pentacles. Now, I did remove the second person and added a dog. I thought that was an interesting dynamic. Not only do you need to sort of figure out what's happening, but the dog wants some stuff too. Now, the scales are unbalanced on this one, because I knew that all of y'all would scream if I unbalanced the justice scales. But this one, I took the liberty. And I made it so, number one. The Seven of Pentacles, pretty standard except for the groundhog who has dug up some of the ground. You see the little groundhog, I painted him. You like him? A lot of nice detail on the leaves as well. So the groundhog, I always wondered what he was looking at, and there's nothing that he's looking at. So I added something for him to look at, to be nervous about, to be worried about. It's like, Mr. Groundhog, why do you need to do this to me? Shout out to Caddyshack for that one, by the way. Eight of Pentacles, pretty standard, but I did make the pentacle not complete. I always thought, he's working on this pentacle, why is it complete? So I made it not complete. It's not finished. The pentacle's not done. So there's my added thing there. 9 of Pentacles, pretty standard. 10 of Pentacles as well, pretty standard. All right. So the Page of Pentacles, pretty standard. And the Knight of Pentacles, a lot of good detail there. And the Queen of Pentacles. Now, I did add at the bottom a squirrel and a rabbit. The squirrel is a shout out to my friend and fellow YouTuber, Papa Squirrel. So there is your shout out. And then you have a rabbit just for no reason whatsoever, actually. So there's that. King of Pentacles, radical change. The robe is supposed to be black, but I made it white. I wanted to go out on an adventure and figure out if I could do it. I think it turned out well. He's also stepping on something. I always wondered what he was stepping on, so I added an alligator. If you're going to mush something in the head, it might as well be an alligator. It might as well be an alligator. By the way, in case you're wondering about the card thickness, that's pretty tight. That's pretty tight. It's 330 GSM. It is nice and thick. So there you go. Nice and thick card. Yours comes shrink wrap, by the way. I removed the shrink wrap for making the video a couple of seconds shorter at a minimum. I knew it would be a long video because I'm talking about all the cards. Anyway, again, your 2 bonus cards. You don't have to use them if you don't want to. And that is an unboxing of my tarot called the Waterfall Tarot. 4K flip through coming up. Thank you for watching, and let me know what you think about it. See you next time.